The battlefields of Eastern Europe are undergoing a profound structural shift. While the frontline trenches remain locked in a brutal stalemate, a high-intensity war of pure industrial attrition has ignited in the skies. Over the last 48 hours, an unprecedented synchronization of massed missile saturation and asymmetric long-range drone strikes has pushed both Ukraine's defensive shield and Russia's critical energy infrastructure to a critical breaking point. This is no longer just a war of territorial maneuver. It is a direct race against the clock for economic and industrial survival. This is Atlas GeoPulse, inside the equation of attrition. In the opening week of July 2026, the skies over Ukraine became the arena for the most sophisticated coordinated air campaign since the conflict's inception. Moscow launched its fourth major joint strike package of the season, deploying a massed volume of over 350 one-way attack drones alongside 68 tactical ballistic and cruise missiles. This was not a random bombardment, but a highly synchronized saturation operation. The attack sequence follows a precise technical methodology. Initial waves of low-cost Shahed-class munitions are routed along erratic flight paths to map active Ukrainian radar nodes, force the activation of hidden mobile defense units, and exhaust localized interceptor stockpiles. Once the air defense grid is sufficiently saturated, secondary and tertiary waves consisting of low observable caliber cruise missiles and multi-directional KH-101s exploit the opened corridors. The final phase delivers the kinetic payload. High-velocity Iskander-M and S-400 ballistic strikes targeting critical nodes before defense systems can reset. The primary objective remains unchanged: the systematic degradation of the civil-military power grid, forcing Kyiv into an impossible choice between protecting frontline troop concentrations or defending major urban centers. While Ukrainian mobile defense teams achieved a high interception rate against cruise vectors and slow-moving loitering munitions, the operational reality for anti-ballistic defense has reached a critical inflection point. During the latest engagement, 0% of Russian ballistic missiles were brought down outside the immediate umbrella of the capital. The reason is a systemic deficit in specialized interceptor stockpiles. Kyiv's public appeals for additional Patriot and SAMP/T batteries mask a deeper industrial reality. The crisis is no longer just about the deployment of launchers, but the baseline capacity of the Western defense industrial complex. A standard PAC-3 interceptor requires advanced guidance components, solid rocket motor casings, and complex assembly pipelines that cannot be rushed. Current tracking data indicates that Russian domestic manufacturing of ballistic weapons, insulated by parallel supply chains and foreign component acquisition, is currently outstripping the combined monthly interceptor delivery rates of NATO allies. As stockpiles dwindle, air defense commanders are forced to ration their remaining missiles, creating expanding zones of vulnerability across Ukraine's industrial heartland. Faced with the systematic destruction of its domestic power grid, Kyiv has initiated a calculated mirror campaign designed to export the economic cost of the war deep into the Russian interior. Utilizing a rapidly evolving fleet of domestically produced long-range one-way attack drones, Ukrainian planners bypass dense border air defenses to strike the core of Russia's petrochemical infrastructure. The primary targets reveal a deliberate focus on high-value logistics. Geolocated imagery confirmed successful kinetic impacts at the Slavneft-Yanos refinery in Yaroslavl, over 700 kilometers from the border, and a critical strike on the primary refining units at the Omsk oil refinery in Siberia. Rather than targeting generic storage tanks, these operations utilize precise intelligence to strike the fractional distillation towers, specifically the AVT-6 units. These massive structures are the technological heart of any refinery. They are highly complex, custom-built, and heavily reliant on specialized foreign components. By disabling these specific nodes, the asymmetric drone campaign threatens Russia's domestic fuel refinement capacity, creating localized shortages, spiking logistics costs for frontline forces, and restricting Moscow's primary economic engine. The timing of this dual-sided air escalation is directly linked to the broader geopolitical arena. As the smoke cleared over Kyiv and Yaroslavl, diplomats gathered in Ankara, Turkey, for a high-stakes NATO leadership summit. The synchronized violence in the skies served as a powerful backdrop of political military signaling from both combatants. For Moscow, the intense bombardment was an explicit demonstration of leverage, designed to project an aura of inevitable victory and signal to Western electorate blocs that continued financial and military aid will only prolong an unsustainable war of attrition. Conversely, Kyiv utilized the immediate, visible destruction of its civilian infrastructure to shatter diplomatic complacency. By presenting real-time data on air defense depletion directly to the alliance leadership, Ukraine aimed to bypass long-standing bureaucratic delays, demanding immediate multi-year commitments for anti-ballistic missile production, direct integration into regional air defense networks, and the removal of geographic restrictions on Western-supplied long-range strike weapons. In the shadow of the Black Sea choke points, the air war has become a high-stakes leverage game to dictate the terms of future negotiations. Strip away the rhetoric of international summits and the immediate chaos of tactical strikes, and the conflict reduces to a stark, mathematical equation: a war of pure industrial and economic attrition. The defining question of the next phase is not who can execute the most dramatic maneuver on the ground, but who can sustain their domestic industrial baseline under relentless kinetic pressure. Russia's strategy relies on a calculated gamble that its deep reserves of raw materials, state-directed wartime economy, and access to sanction-evading technology corridors will allow it to exhaust Ukraine's power grid and break Western political resolve before its own domestic energy sector sustains terminal damage. Ukraine, meanwhile, is betting on a race against the clock. Its goal is to rapidly scale domestic long-range manufacturing to cripple Russia's economic engine, while relying on a massive synchronized ramp-up of Western military-industrial production to restock its defensive shield. As both sides trade blows across hundreds of kilometers, the air war has transcended the battlefield. It is now a direct competition between the industrial capacities of competing global systems, where the final victor will be decided not by territorial control, but by the resilience of the assembly line. As both global systems trade kinetic blows across a front line extending hundreds of kilometers into the interior, the ultimate victor will not be decided by map lines, but by the resilience of the assembly line. Whether Western interceptor production can scale in time to preserve Ukraine's urban grid, or if domestic drone manufacturing can permanently cripple Moscow's primary economic engine, remains the defining geopolitical question of this phase. To monitor these shifting parameters as they develop, subscribe to Atlas GeoPulse and enable notifications. For a deeper analysis of how these strategic air campaigns are intersecting with global maritime security and regional flashpoints, select the next briefing on your screen now. Thank you for listening.